All right, everybody, welcome back. Today we're going deep on this the Thousand-Year Ham War thing.
Oh, yeah.
This book, it's like taking the world by storm.
Really has.
Everyone's talking about it. It's wild. A war over pork. It sounds crazy, right?
Sounds crazy.
But I gotta say, even just skimming it, this book,
Yeah.
it's
It's clever.
it is clever.
Very clever.
Yeah, it's not just like a silly story.
Yeah.
It's actually got some really deep ideas in there.
Yeah.
You know, about conflict and tradition.
The power of food, even.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, we're jumping into this world where it's like the Ham Syndicate versus the Bacon Union.
Right.
And they've been locked in this like epic generations-long struggle over who's got the best pork, basically.
And it's not just like a little rivalry.
No.
This is a full-blown war. They've got like salted cities, endangered pigs. I mean,
It's intense.
yeah, it's a foodie apocalypse.
But it's so well written that you actually feel the weight of this conflict, you know?
Yeah.
Like you can sense the desperation of this world that's consumed by this culinary war. Then out of nowhere come these beef machines.
Yeah. Talk about a twist.
Right. Like
Nobody saw that coming.
you're reading along, you're like, okay, ham versus bacon, and then suddenly,
Boom. Giant robot.
yeah, these giant metal figures just appear, and like nobody knows where they came from.
It's like the author's just messing with us at first.
Right.
But there's a reason they're there.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a bigger purpose at play. And get this, their solution to this whole war: cowboy hats.
I know. It's so weird.
It's like the most unexpected peace treaty ever, but that's what makes the story so brilliant.
Right. Like, who would have thought that cowboy hats would be the key to ending a centuries-long war over pork?
Exactly. But these aren't your average hats.
Okay.
They're crafted from like enchanted beef jerky and smoked leather.
Talk about a fashion statement.
Right. But it's deeper than that. It's like the author's saying that sometimes the most out there solutions can be the most effective.
And that you got to be open to new ideas, even if they seem strange at first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how do these magical hats actually work? Well, they've got these three crazy powers:
Yeah.
flavor equilibrium, Grillmaster's wisdom, and mood diplomacy.
Flavor equilibrium. That one still gets me.
I know, it's wild. Imagine a hat that could make you actually enjoy Brussels sprouts.
Or like liver and onions.
I know, it's like mind control, but for your taste buds.
But I think it represents something more than just taste, though.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, it's about open-mindedness, you know?
Yeah.
Being willing to try new things and see things from a different perspective.
Right, it's like breaking free from your own little food world and realizing there's a whole universe of flavors out there.
Exactly.
Okay, then there's Grillmaster's wisdom, which I think is about more than just knowing how to cook.
Oh, I really.
It's about like understanding the whole art and science behind creating a truly delicious meal,
Yeah.
you know? Like the deeper knowledge and expertise that goes into it.
And that knowledge can be a powerful tool for bringing people together.
Totally. Instead of fighting over who's got the best recipe, maybe we should be sharing our culinary secrets and learning from each other.
Right.
Then there's this mood diplomacy thing, which basically gives the beef machines this like super persuasive aura.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like if they can just walk into any room and everyone instantly wants to listen to them.
Yeah. And it makes you think, what is it about beef that's so convincing? You know,
Like, is it that kind of hearty, down-to-earth vibe that beef has?
maybe. Or is it just the audacity of these machines showing up in a pork-obsessed world and being like, hey, there's a third option here.
Right. Like, beef is the Switzerland of the meat world.
I like that. So all this leads up to this epic battle, the Battle of Glazed Fields.
Oh, yeah, the climax of the whole story.
Right. And the author does not hold back when describing this battle. I mean, you've got the Ham Syndicate with their sugar cannon.
And the Bacon Union with their grease geyser.
I know. It's hilarious and terrifying at the same time. You can practically smell the burning sugar and sizzling fat.
It's like a sensory overload.
Totally. But then, just when things are about to get really crazy, this lone beef machine walks onto the battlefield and everything changes.
Talk about an entrance.
Right. Like this single machine just stands there amidst all the chaos and declares, enough.
And then tosses a perfectly cooked burger right into the middle of the fight.
It's such a powerful moment. It's like the author is saying, sometimes the simplest acts can have the biggest impact.
And sometimes what we need isn't more fighting or more arguing, but something new and unexpected that everyone can enjoy.
Exactly. And that perfectly cooked burger, it's like a symbol of hope.
Hope and deliciousness.
Right. Like the beef machine is saying, hey, there's more to life than this endless war over pork. Let's try something different, something that can bring us together.
And the crazy thing is, it works.
I know. The armies, they just lay down their weapons. They're drawn together by the promise of a good meal and a new way of thinking.
It's like that burger broke the spell of the conflict.
It really did. And what happens next is even more amazing. The beef machines, they just vanish.
Oof, gone.
Just like that. They're not interested in power or control or anything like that. They just wanted to help humanity find a better path.
It's almost like they were sent on a mission to bring peace to this pork-obsessed world.
And they did. They left behind a legacy of peace and culinary diversity and a whole lot of unanswered questions.
Like, where did they come from?
Yeah. And what was their ultimate purpose?
The author leaves us with those mysteries, which I think adds to the richness of the story.
It definitely does. It makes you wonder about all the unexplained events in our own history. You know, like what unseen forces might be shaping our world in ways we don't even realize.
It's a thought-provoking idea, for sure.
It is. And what I find really interesting is how this fantastical story about a war over pork actually connects to so many real-world issues.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, look at the world today. We're so divided over politics, culture, even food. It's like we're constantly being bombarded with messages that reinforce those divisions.
And it's easy to get caught up in that us versus them mentality, you know?
Right. But this book, it offers a different perspective. It makes you question those ingrained beliefs and wonder if maybe our differences aren't as insurmountable as they seem.
Maybe there's more common ground than we realize.
Exactly. And the global response to this book, it's been incredible.
It's more than just a bestseller. It's a cultural phenomenon.
It really is. People are talking about it, debating it, drawing parallels to their own lives and the world around them.
It's like the story has tapped into this collective yearning for something different, a way out of these endless cycles of conflict.
And all these trends that have emerged from the book, like the Treaty of Medium Rare products, the fashion inspired by the Beef Machine's hats.
It's not just about following a trend. It's about expressing a desire for unity, for a world where we can appreciate our differences without letting them tear us apart.
Exactly. And the fact that this message is being conveyed through a story about a war over pork, it's genius.
Right. It uses humor and absurdity to disarm us, to make us laugh at ourselves and the things we take so seriously.
And beneath that humor, there's a really profound message about empathy and understanding and the importance of searching for common ground.
Absolutely.
This book has sparked real conversations about conflict resolution and cultural exchange and finding solutions that benefit everyone.
It's made people think about their own biases and their resistance to trying new things and their role in perpetuating division.
It's a powerful reminder that stories have the ability to change hearts and minds, to inspire us to be more open-minded and compassionate.
And to see the world through different lenses.
The Thousand-Year Ham War may be a work of fiction, but its impact on the real world is undeniable.
It's given us a new language for talking about conflict, new symbols for representing peace and understanding, and a renewed sense of hope that maybe we can find a way to bridge those divides that seem to separate us.
It's an invitation to question our assumptions and challenge our beliefs, and imagine a future where culinary diversity isn't a cause for war, but a source of shared joy and connection.
And who knows? Maybe a perfectly cooked burger really can save the world.
It's a delicious thought, isn't it?
It really is.
We've covered a lot of ground here.
We have. This 1,000-year ham war, it's a wild ride.
It is. But it's a ride worth taking, trust me.
Absolutely. I think it's safe to say this deep dive has left us with a lot to chew on.
It definitely has.
Yeah.
And all this talk about beef has got me craving a burger.
Me too.
You know what? We should probably take a break, grab a bite to eat, and then come back and dive into the next chapter of this amazing story.
Sounds good to me. I'm thinking medium rare.
Of course. It's the only way to honor the treaty.
Right. All right, everybody. We'll be back in a bit. Stay tuned.
And that smell, that perfectly cooked burger,
It's like magic, right?
it's like it just cuts through all the tension, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, like everybody just forgets about the fighting for a second.
All they can think about is that juicy burger.
Exactly. It's such a brilliant symbol, too. Like, it's not ham, it's not bacon, it's something completely different.
It's like the author showing us that there's always another option.
Right, there's a way out of this binary thinking. Exactly. And from that burger, from that shared experience, comes the Treaty of Medium Rare.
What a name.
I know, right?
But it really captures that idea of compromise.
Of finding a middle ground.
Exactly. It's like nobody gets everything they want, but everybody gets something delicious.
Then that's how peace is made, right?
It's a beautiful thing. And the fact that the beef machines just disappear after all this,
That they were never even there.
it adds to the mystery,
It really does. Like, what was their purpose?
Where did they come from?
Are they out there watching us, waiting to intervene again?
The author leaves us with so many questions.
I think that's part of what makes the story so compelling.
It is. It keeps you thinking long after you've finished reading.
Mm-hmm.
But what I find really fascinating is how this whole fantastical story connects to our world,
Oh, absolutely.
Like we're living in a time where it feels like everyone's at odds with each other.
Constant arguments.
Yeah, like it's politics or it's social issues or even just like what kind of milk you drink.
Almond milk versus oat milk. The ultimate battle.
Right. But this book, it's like a reminder that maybe we're focusing on the wrong things.
That maybe our differences aren't as big as we make them out to be.
Exactly. And the way the world has responded to this book,
It's incredible.
that's like a phenomenon.
It really is. People are talking about it everywhere you go.
It's like it's touched a nerve, Like deep down, we all crave that sense of unity.
That feeling of coming together.
Exactly. And it's not just talk either. It's like people are actually trying to live out the message of the book.
Like with those treaty of medium rare products.
Right.
And all the fashion inspired by those beef jerky cowboy hats.
It's amazing. It's like what started as a fictional symbol of peace.
It's become a real world trend.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it's because people are looking for something to believe in.
Something that represents hope and understanding.
And this book, it's given them that.
It's given them a way to express those desires.
Exactly. And the fact that all this has come from a story about a war over pork.
It's kind of mind-blowing.
It is. It's like the author took something so ridiculous,
So absurd.
yeah, and turned it into this profound commentary on the human condition.
It's brilliant. It's like they snuck in these really deep messages.
Wrapped them up in humor and deliciousness.
Exactly. And the world ate it up. No pun intended.
Oh, I think that pun was very much intended. But you're right. The book has sparked all these conversations about conflict resolution,
About finding common ground.
about the power of food to bring people together,
And it's made people think about their own role in all of this.
their own biases, their own resistance to change.
It's powerful stuff. It's a reminder that stories can change the world.
They can change hearts and minds.
They can inspire us to be better.
The 1,000-Year Ham War. It might be fiction.
But its impact is real.
It's given us a new way to talk about these really complex issues.
It's given us hope.
And maybe, just maybe, it's given us a roadmap to a more peaceful and delicious future.
That's a future I can get behind.
It's wild how this story about like a ham and bacon war has gotten so big.
Right. Like, who knew pork could be so profound?
I know, but it's more than just the food.
Well, definitely.
It's like the whole story just speaks to something deeper,
Yeah.
like this desire for something better.
Yeah, like a craving for unity and understanding.
Exactly. And it's so cool to see how people are actually like bringing this story to life.
Oh, yeah. You see it everywhere.
I know. Like those treaty of medium rare charcuterie boards. Genius.
That's clever. It's like
yeah,
people are taking that message of compromise and putting it right on their tables.
exactly. And the fashion.
Don't even get me started on the hats.
I know. Those beef jerky and smoked leather cowboy hats, I never thought I'd see the day.
They're everywhere. And you know what? They look good.
They do. But it's more than just a fashion statement, right?
Oh, for sure. It's like people are wearing their desire for a more peaceful world.
Like a walking billboard for unity.
Exactly. And what I find really fascinating is how this book has gone beyond just like readers and fans.
Mhm.
It's like infiltrated every corner of culture.
I've seen it. Restaurants are doing whole menus inspired by the book.
I know. I saw one the other day. They had glazed Fields ham and bacon union crumble.
I love that. It's like this culinary arms race, but in a good way.
Right. Like everyone's pushing the boundaries of flavor and creativity.
Exactly. It's not just about copying the dishes from the book. It's about capturing that spirit of like adventure and playfulness.
Yeah. It's about taking those core themes of balance and diversity and unexpectedness and running with them.
And it gives me hope,
Mm.
Like even in a world that feels so divided, sometimes we can still come together over something as simple as good food.
Food has this incredible power to connect us.
Right. It does. And it's not just about taste. It's about those shared experiences.
The memories we create.
Exactly. And this book, it's like a reminder that even in the midst of all the chaos,
There's still room for joy.
there's still room for connection.
And there's still hope for a better future.
The 1,000-Year Ham War, it may be fiction.
But it's given us a lot to think about.
It's made us laugh. It's made us cry.
And it's made us question everything we thought we knew about ham, bacon, and the power of a good burger.
So what's the final verdict? Is this book just a fun read, or is it something more?
I think it's safe to say it's a bit of both.
Yeah. It's entertaining, but it also makes you think.
It challenges you to see the world in a new way.
And maybe even to change it for the better.
Who knows? Maybe all we need is a little bit of beef jerky and smoked leather to bring us all together.
Now that's an idea. Well, folks, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the 1,000-Year Ham War.
It's been a wild ride.
It has, but it's been a delicious one.
Thanks for joining us.
Until next time, keep those minds open, those palates adventurous, and never underestimate the power of a good story to change the world.